Most people quit right before life changes, not because they failed, but because they assumed nothing was happening. Napoleon Hill called this the most dangerous moment, the moment right before success breaks through. Because success rarely announces itself. It tests you quietly. It watches how long you stay committed, how you behave when no one is watching, and whether you continue without reassurance. Persistence is not loud effort. It is silent commitment. Anyone can start. Very few continue, and that is why persistence separates outcomes more than talent, intelligence, or luck. Talent creates potential. Persistence converts potential into reality. Without it, nothing lasts. Most people misunderstand persistence. They think it means forcing results. They push harder instead of staying steady. They rush instead of remaining aligned, and they burn out early. It doesn't. Persistence means staying aligned even when results are delayed, even when effort feels unnoticed, even when progress feels slow, even when doubt becomes loud. The mind wants proof. The universe responds to consistency. One demands evidence. The other rewards repetition. This gap confuses most people. This mismatch causes most people to stop. They assume nothing is happening, when in reality everything is forming just beneath the surface. They expect visible progress before inner alignment is complete. They want confirmation before commitment. They want rewards before discipline. And that expectation breaks momentum. But reality works the opposite way. First, belief stabilizes, then action becomes consistent. Only then do results appear. Skipping this order creates frustration. Following it creates inevitability. Persistence respects the process. Napoleon Hill studied thousands of successful people, different backgrounds, different industries, different personalities, different starting points, but one shared behavior. One pattern was always present. They did not stop, not when things slowed, not when feedback was missing, not when doubt appeared. They stayed in motion. Failure, according to Hill, is often temporary defeat. Temporary means it has an expiration date, but expiration only arrives for those who stay, those who endure long enough, those who don't walk away, but only if you persist. Most people label temporary defeat as final failure, and they walk away. They mistake delay for denial. They mistake silence for rejection, and they quit too early. Persistence requires emotional control, because doubt does not arrive logically. It arrives emotionally. It bypasses reason. It hits during fatigue, and it sounds convincing. A bad day, a delay, silence. These moments amplify uncertainty. They stretch patience. They invite second guessing. And the mind fills the gap with stories. This isn't working. I'm wasting time. Others are ahead of me. These thoughts feel true in the moment, but feelings are not facts. They are temporary signals. Persistence is choosing action despite these thoughts, not by fighting them, but by refusing to obey them. You let them pass. You stay consistent, and you keep moving. Hill believed persistence was built through habit, not motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Habits remain steady. Motivation fades. Habits remain. And what remains determines results. Not how inspired you feel, but what you repeat. When action becomes routine, doubt loses influence. Routine removes emotion from decision-making. You act regardless of mood. That is power. This is why daily discipline matters more than intensity. Intensity impresses briefly. Discipline compounds quietly. One lasts, the other fades. Small actions repeated daily train the subconscious to expect progress. Expectation shapes identity. Identity shapes behavior, and behavior shapes outcomes. Expectation fuels endurance. When you expect progress, delay feels temporary. not discouraging. The biggest enemy of persistence is impatience. Impatience demands immediate reward. It wants proof now, results now, validation now. But success compounds invisibly. It builds beneath awareness. It strengthens silently. It forms before it shows, like roots growing underground before a tree appears. Roots are unseen, but they decide the height and the strength. If you dig up the soil to check progress, you interrupt growth, you reset momentum, you damage stability, and you slow the process. Most people stop because they cannot see roots. They underestimate invisible effort. They overlook internal change. They abandon growth early. They forget that unseen progress is still progress. Skills are forming. Judgment is sharpening. Resilience is strengthening. Napoleon Hill warned about the danger of drifting. Drifting is not failure. It is passive quitting, still busy, still moving, but no longer committed. Activity replaces intention, motion replaces direction, and progress stalls. Persistence requires decision, a clear, final decision. Not I'll try, but I continue. Trying leaves an exit. Commitment removes it. When exits disappear, focus increases. Solutions emerge. Once the exit disappears, the mind stops negotiating. It starts finding solutions instead. Pressure sharpens thinking. Constraints fuel creativity. Persistence unlocks both. Persistent people think differently. They ask, how do I adjust? Not, should I quit? This shift changes outcomes because adjustment keeps momentum alive. Quitting ends possibility. Persistence chooses growth. Persistence does not mean repeating mistakes. It means refining effort. It learns from feedback. It adapts without abandoning direction. It evolves. Feedback becomes guidance, not discouragement. Data replaces emotion. Lessons replace frustration. And clarity replaces doubt. Hill taught that every setback contains a seed of equal or greater benefit, but only persistence allows you to find it. Time reveals meaning. Distance reveals value. Quitting reveals nothing. If you quit early, the seed never grows. Fear often disguises itself as logic. It's not the right time. I need more preparation. I'll come back later. These sound responsible, but they delay momentum. And momentum is fragile. Persistence sees through this. Later rarely comes. Delay turns into distance. Distance turns into doubt. And doubt turns into stopping. Progress favors momentum. Once momentum stops, restarting feels harder than continuing. The cost of stopping is often higher than the cost of continuing. Persistence understands this. This is why persistence compounds confidence. Every day you show up, your self-trust increases. Self-trust reduces hesitation. Hesitation reduces progress. Consistency removes both. And self-trust fuels consistency. The mind believes what behavior proves. When you persist, you prove capability to yourself. Action becomes evidence. Evidence becomes belief. Belief becomes identity. That belief spills into other areas. Suddenly, challenges feel manageable, not easy, manageable. And manageable is enough to keep moving forward, to stay consistent. Napoleon Hill believed persistence activates unseen support. People help more. Ideas flow easier. Opportunities align, not magically, naturally, because persistence sharpens awareness. You notice what others miss. You recognize patterns. You stay long enough to understand timing. You notice connections others miss. You stay long enough to recognize patterns. Most breakthroughs are delayed rewards. They arrive after boredom, after frustration, after repetition. Persistence bridges that gap. It holds the line. It maintains direction. It refuses early exit. Success is rarely a single leap. It is thousands of small steps taken without applause, no recognition, no audience, just consistency. Hill said that persistence is sustained effort inspired by purpose. Without purpose, persistence feels like suffering. With purpose, it feels meaningful. Meaning reduces resistance. Clarity strengthens endurance. Purpose fuels persistence. That is why clarity matters. When you know why you started, stopping feels harder than continuing. Purpose anchors persistence, and persistence transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. You do not need perfect conditions. You need continuity. The world rewards those who stay, not those who start strong, but those who remain consistent. Consistency outlasts talent. It outperforms luck, and it compounds over time. Every system eventually responds to persistence. Markets, skills, relationships, growth. They bend to continuity. The only real question is not, will this work? It is, will I stay long enough to find out? Because persistence does not guarantee ease, it guarantees arrival. And once you arrive, you realize something important. The obstacle was never the challenge. It was the temptation to stop. And the moment you refused to quit, success had no choice but to follow. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated with our latest videos on YouTube.